This is the winners match of Group F. In the bottom left-hand side, Solar, who looked pretty convincing against Petit Drogo. Some strong Swarm Host play, some strong Anti-Adept play. Just looked good in general. As here's our Blue Zerg bottom left-hand corner, taking on the upper right-hand side, Red Protoss player MaxPax, who is someone we didn't get to see yet because he got a forfeit in the first round. He was meant to play Innovation, got a free win. So he gets into this winners match to play some PvZ, and I feel like you'll be happy about that. Gets this probe across and is able to block the hatchery from coming down on the natural expansion, so able to slow that down right away. So yeah, just forces that hatchery up over to the right-hand side, and we'll see what kind of style MaxPax brings to the table today, right? I think that's always very fun to... He's been improving so much lately, right? So it's been very fun to watch him play, watch him improve, and to come out with some different bits and pieces as of later. So yeah, it's great to see MaxPax continue to do well. Again, first time we get to see him in this group, so let's see how well he ends up doing. We do have our probe trailing off over on the side, and otherwise just get ourselves up and running in the early moments of game number 1. Expecting probably some double Stargate play at some point, but also mixing it up into some some different bits and pieces as well as we go. Obviously, again, that's the power of the matchup. Really, just it has kind of developed. For a long time, we had a very stationary, very uninteresting kind of way of playing this, honestly. But I would say it's actually turned around a lot lately. It's actually become, I say uninteresting. I don't mind double Stargate Voyager. It's when every game is double Stargate Voyager. But the matchup is developing. The matchup is changing, and that kind of gives me a little bit of excitement back for PvZ once more. So, excited to see how that continues to develop, as we do have Overlord still just chilling out the front. We do see a couple of drones mining on the bottom side. Stargate building from MaxPax over in the main base. All of this continuing up as we speak. So there's that Wolf Gate coming through, and again, the Adept going to be rallying out onto the map in a few moments' time. A few questions about why Inno forfeited. Inno showed up late, guys. He showed up like 2.5 hours late, is what I'm told. So he showed up very late to play his matches, but only got disqualified from the first one, apparently. So that's as much as I know, guys. That's as much as I can tell you about the situation. As you see, Adept's just going to make their way down, and first two just going to put some pressure on. It is already the Stargate into the Oracle to start us off here. Oh, that's nice. Going to grab himself a drone kill down on the natural, so not a bad setup at all. As we actually do see a Ling getting into the natural for a split moment. I mean, what does that really see for Solar? Not a lot. Building gateway. Obviously, Stargate in the main is something which he doesn't see yet, but he's... Well, is he going to be prepared for it? It's going to be the Queen defense, basically. The Adepts in the end, actually, by the way, got a second drone and a couple of Lings before they went down as I was investigating the other side of the map. So, here comes the Oracle flying in. The Ling's already hitting at the front on the other side. Let's see what the Oracle can do. Bad positioning from this second Queen allows MaxPax to come in and get 5 worker kills. On the other side, the single Adept will protect and save the Cybernetics Coil. Take some damage, sure, but it will indeed survive. And for 5 drones across the map, I think MaxPax is going to be smiling. He followed this up with 1 Void Ray, with the second gate already down. The question is mostly going to be, do we see Stargate number 2 starting up right now? Or what exactly comes in as we get ready to follow up from a third base, which is about to start in just a few moments' time as well. So there's our second Stargate, so we're getting to see exactly how MaxPax wants to try and play this. We do have a couple of Adepts again down the bottom side here, moving around and making progress to see what they can get up to. See the Adepts actually going to have a good time droning a couple of Lings going down right now. Do you see the Adepts going to peel away to the side and just going to stay out of range of the Queen as long as possible. Now shading into the main, and man, MaxPax getting so much early game damage. Like, this is kind of unreal, right? 5 more drone kills. His early game start is so good. And as we go into this, obviously now we've got the Stargates. 2 of them rolling. We've got 2 Void Rays on the way out. That means we're going to have so much to work with here. I mean, I'm a little worried for Solar simply for the fact that MaxPax here is cranking out these Voids, and he's already had a good opener. Economies are good for him. Yeah, it just feels like Solar's not going to be able to do much right away, and then these Voids are going to start harassing as well. So let's see what the Voids can do as for the first time they begin to make their way across the map. Only 4 Voids at the moment, Robo Bay and a Forge coming down. We're not done with Void Ray production, but can only afford so many Void Rays while you're also going for the Robo Bay so soon. MaxPax was one of the real first players to kind of come out with this kind of Void Ray Disruptor style, so he was really one of the first to really adapt it and adopt it, and really use it on a very frequent basis. Skull drones go down. I'm just going to be seeing the rest of the Lings going to make their way up to the top. Oracle comes in, gets grabbed by these couple of Queens, so able to do well with that. As again, the rest of the Void Rays coming out down the bottom. They're going to go for a bit of a play on towards these Queens down here. So first Queen in some trouble. Man, there's no Spore or anything here. I find that amazing. Oh dear, Solar in some serious trouble right now as these Voids are potentially going to kill the hatchery. Transfusions will start to come in. How much do you commit to this? I feel like there's 1 transfusion left. You go for it. You get the 3rd base, and that's a massive kill from MaxPax. No Spore Crawler in position or anything. Solar cutting some corners, but I'm not sure a Spore Crawler saves you there. The Queens are just so far out. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. More Voids up to the top side. We do see the Lings of Solar going to pull away back down the left-hand side, down to the bottom. Temple Archives, Disruptor, all of this coming through. A couple Phoenix as well on the way from MaxPax. Charge on the way up as well. These Lings are going to get us around on these rocks, going to be able to pick their way through these. Just opening up the map a little bit, but I mean, again, you lose the 3rd hatchery. Of course, you've got the 4th hatch, but there's still so many drones that are long-distance mining that should be mining so much more effectively. You look at the income graph right now, you can see the advantage that MaxPax takes. In general, the early game was good for him, remember? And you can see that advantage, and just as Solar started to creep back, he hits that 3rd base and he hits it hard. And I mean, now Mutas are on the way up, so we saw that Spire coming through. Generally, if you're going to play a Spire, you're going to play Mutas. Corruptors just melt to the void, so the best bet is that you go Mutas, and you can use the Mutas to buy a bunch of time to set up a follow-up Hydra's play. That's frequently what you see happening as Mutas go across to the upper right-hand side. I fly in towards the main base right here, so I'm going to get turned around initially. A couple of cannons in good positions as MaxPax is just attacking. He obviously saw the Spire when he killed the 3rd base as well, by the way, so he's already made some Phoenix to help against Mutas, and well, he just knows that this is a good time to attack because Mutas are being built, so he does exactly that. Very well handled, and MaxPax is going to end up winning game number 1 of this best of 3. Wow, MaxPax just great play with the Voids and doing things up in terms of the process of getting into games, which is really nice. As we'll start off in the bottom left-hand side. The Blue Zerg player, my friends, let's give it up if you're cheering on Solar to come back in this series and fight for a little bit of Zerg power into the round of 16. What's the racial breakdown right now in the round of 16? Let's have a little cheeky look at this one. Because I feel like what have we seen today? We obviously saw Rogue advance. We saw Serral advance. Showtime and Reno out of Group C. So there's what? 1, 2, 3 Protoss, 1, 2 Terran, and 3 Zerg already in the round of 16, actually, with half of the groups completed. Alright, alright. MaxPax looking to do it for Europe. Looking to make even more Europeans in that round of 16 stage of the tournament. What a chance as well, just first place out of the group, get a good seed into the round of 16. Again, every time you see MaxPax playing these big tournaments right now, you've got to expect that he's perhaps got a chance to make a huge run. The thing about MaxPax is I think his biggest weakness right now is consistency. He maybe just isn't as consistent as other players can be. And that's probably MaxPax's biggest weakness, right? Just, some of his builds, and his playstyle doesn't aid him with that. A part of the problem is his playstyle allows him to be inconsistent. But boy, when it works, can it work really well. And that's what's terrifying about this kid, and that's what's so hopeful about watching him. He really can beat anybody at the moment, it feels like. To some extent, right? I think some matchups better than others for him, and certain playstyles better than others too. But it feels like, you show up, and he absolutely could make a run if he gets a good group tomorrow and goes all the way. I'm saying as though he's already in the round of 16, but you know what I mean, right? Like, that's what makes this youngster so fun to keep an eye on. As you just have the probe. Gonna come nibbling the mineral line. Overlord of Solar is gonna go towards the upper right side as well. See how MaxPax opens with this time. I think a lot of this from Solar just comes down to having a better early game, right? You just can't allow MaxPax, you can't allow any Protoss player to do damage like that and expect to get away with it, right? It just doesn't work like that. So yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful about that stuff, as we do see the feelings coming in, chasing down that probe. So probe just gets chased away. Actually, probe's gonna die. That's not very often you see probes dying as slow lings anymore. Used to be something we kind of talked about all the time, right? But more recently, I would say it's been a situation where it's definitely been a case of as the game gets into like a later game as the game develops, like Protoss players really figured out how they can bring that probe home, when to bring that probe home. Very rarely does it take enough damage to actually get killed by slow lings, but one of the rare occasions that that's not quite going to be the case here this time around. Okay, we're setting up on the front. We do have our Void Ray about to finish in the main, and Warp Gate halfway done. Ling Speed is about to complete, and this hatchery on the third base is just finishing up as well. Our few Zerglings of Solar are going to take their way out across to the upper side of the map. Void making its way around, picks off a single Ling so far in the game, and MaxPax's setup going to be straight to a third base, so this is something a bit fun, right? Just a Void Ray, very quick third base with the Oracle, into the second Stargate. It's just nice and exactly what we want to see after that first game. It's more of the same, but this time without all of that early game aggression that went so well for him, right? Because that's what he's changed. He's not really gotten aggressive with these Adepts. He's kept his Adepts back at home, so very intriguing to see how he'll then play this differently and how Solar will handle this differently when the early game damage is not as much. Looks like they forgot to host with Game Heart here, guys, so we're not seeing worker kills on the side of the screen. I apologize for that, but the players were hosting the games, so sometimes these things happen as the Oracle shows up and cleans out a few of those drones. So a few drones get picked away at, they go down. Some good damage there as a second Stargate about to finish up for MaxPax in the main base. So two Stargates together going to be completing. And as the Void Ray pops out of the main Stargate, we do have the Void just rallying over through the top to the 12 o'clock position. More Zerglings of Solar going to go out back down to the bottom. Now MaxPax has this Oracle continue to move around and is going to be trying to find a little bit of something with it. So far, not really finding much luck. Nice revelation onto the couple of Queens, and the Oracle gets turned away pretty much immediately. Again, just more Voids on the way out. So again, kind of eyes on Solar. It's up to him right now. It's his decision how he wants to play this. With the lag coming through, you expect this to be Roach speed at least, and then we'll see obviously what other tech he decides to add in. It could still absolutely be some kind of a Queen attack off of a higher work account or so. So there is some possibility there as Lings are going to go in for these couple of Adepts. But they are already shading away, and the Adepts are going to keep on running. They've got their sprinting shoes on right now because the Lings are in hot pursuit. They're going to shade one way, run the other. You probably lose. Oh no, the Lings ran past. So the Adepts do survive. They get back to the battery, and they will get to live for another day. Alright, RoboBay coming up in the natural expansion. Just going to be seeing these few Void Rays picking away at Creep Tumors. Gets a drone that wanted to make a 4th base. So, very indirect damage, but definitely slowing Solar down a little bit. Again, really cool that we get to see something so similar off of such different openings this time around. Just because of, again, MaxPax having such a good early game. It just put him into a ridiculously good position. Now, RoboBay and that Twilight Council come through. Just gonna see how Void Rays coming in. Queen taking a little bit of damage. You see the Oracle back in as well. This guy, he's picked up 9 kills this game. It's easy to kind of miss those when the worker kill counter isn't on the side of the screen, but 9 kills on the Oracle, and the majority of those are drones. That's pretty much where all 10 of these drones came from, apart from the one drone making the 4th. So, Oracle finding some real value, and again, it is starting to add up once more, right? I mean, look at the income graph here. We can't because there's no game hop, but if we could, it would be a little bit better than last time, but it is still starting to go a bit of MaxPax's way comparatively. Here's, of course, Solar just also gone up to an 81 worker count, but MaxPax also just went straight to 70 probes without any issue at all. Now, we're going to see Solar already on his way to a hive, but he's also building a Spire here, so you'll have the Spire join in with. Boys is going to get rid of a Spore in the main base. He's going to go for the other one as he's prismatically aligned. Now he's going to start against Queens, and the Queens start to switch targets, so the Voids are still alive, and a couple of these Queens starting to fall. Uh-oh, one of the Queens showing up. Roach is moving through. These Void Rays going to back away once again. The Queens continue to chase these Void Rays down. Out up the left-hand side, there's an Oracle back again. 12 kills and counting as he's killed the Queen. So this Oracle, a hero once more, putting so much damage out. Oh my god. Oh, now the Void's going to go for the 4th base. Isn't MaxPax just kind of winning this? Okay, there's transfusions here, so this might not die, but there's also a lot of Void Rays. Gonna back it up for a moment. Back it away. The Void's gonna pull back, but then there's some Lings here you may be able to catch. Okay, at least you saved the base. Oh my god, the Voids went back in. They killed the hatchery. God, I'm blind today, guys. I'm sorry. They went back in. They got it. Alright, well, that's fantastic. And now we see there's actually Corruptors being made. Okay, I've got no idea what Solar is planning. I was never a fan of the Spire play. The one thing that convinced me about Spire against these Void Rays is when Reno played it. I had a Katowice and in Katowice, and he really made it look good. And he really showed us how you can make it work. But it never involved making Corruptors and a greater Spire into Broodlords. That part I just do not get. I just don't know how you're going to kill the Void Rays. Like, I just don't think you do kill the Void Rays. MaxPax is going to come with the same attack as he came with last game. Obviously, this time there's not mutas flying across the map into his base. But I don't think the Corruptors provide any additional defense here because they should just melt. Like, they are terrible against Void Rays. They're horrible. 2 go down already. I mean, obviously, they were fine on their own, so they don't really count. Well, Mazar's just going to start going in towards the drones. The Ling Roach can't make it through. The Queens are blocking the way. Disruptor shots come through, and that's a massive set of Disruptors hitting double Queens. I think even triple Queens. And hitting some Roaches as well. Big kills there. Now the Void is going to engage, and look at the Corruptors go down with speed. Oh my god. That's why Void Rays suck against these Void Rays. Corruptors suck against these Void Rays, guys. Jeez. Alright, Voids are coming back around. Just going to be seeing the units from Solar backing away a little bit. Solar's supply is absolutely plummeted here, though, this time around. Just going to be seeing the next attack is going to make stuff so difficult, make life so difficult for Solar. As he pushed on down, Void Rays, Archons, and the Zealots going to start moving forward. There we go. So pushing in, just going to be seeing the Corruptors going down. The Viper's taking some damage. And these Voids just continue to pick away at this. I mean, there's just an unholdable attack, right? Broodlords continue to go down. Just going to see the Voids continue to fight this. And that is just going to be game, right? Damn. Solar's just going to... I mean, I don't get the game plan at all. I would love to see this work. You know? I would really love to see this work because I honestly just don't. Right now, I really don't see it, which is obviously a problem. Because, like, it's so hard to imagine how this works for Solar. I know he's taking lots of damage and stuff, but I just don't really believe in it at all. I don't know. Maybe I don't like to be negative and make statements or judgment like that, but I just really don't see the part of this where it works. And to be fair, I said this about the Spire style with the Mutalisks before Reno showed me the way, so I would love to see a game where I'm proven wrong. I just want to mention, obviously, I mentioned I was like, oh, I missed the fourth base down. Apparently, that actually happened on camera. I think I was probably looking at, I quickly glanced at chat, or I also had an admin message me a couple minutes ago, so maybe it was that, but I think I just obviously didn't look at the screen before then clicking away, so that's my apologies, guys. The Observant was better than I assumed it was. I'm just so used to my Observant being terrible that it has actually turned out to be, actually turned out to be better than I assumed. Alright, GG's. MaxPax goes to the round of 16 with a 2-0 against Solar.